The NHL 2000s event has dropped its final Master Set players. In this video, we are going to do a ranking of the 10 Master Set player items and give my tips and opinions on which cards you should go after if you are looking to make one of or multiple of the Master Set player items. I do want to make it clear, though, the next event on Friday, January 24th, is the Team of the Year event. However, I know there are a lot of players out there that maybe just got the game or you want to make one because you've gotten enough of the objectives done and things like that to actually get one for free by just playing the game. So with that being said, let's get into the rankings. Let's start down in the theme team tier. These would be players that I would only recommend for theme team players. You're building a specific squad. Let's start with Ed Belfour, 6 foot at 89 overall. He's got gold lightwork and silver sponge, 95 speed. But again, if you were looking to get some cards to improve your team for online play, it's going to be awfully difficult to have success, especially as you get further and further into the divisions with Ed Belfour, simply because he's only 6 foot. And again, EA needs to find a way to solve this issue to make a little bit smaller goaltenders a little more viable. However, they haven't done that yet. So the only way I would recommend Ed Belfour is simply if you are a Dallas Stars fan or Toronto Maple Leaf fan, for example. Which means that Lucas Dostal also in the theme team list. Again, guys, for anyone that's new to my channel, for a goaltender to not be in the theme team tier list, he has got to be so far and away among one of the best goaltenders that is released at that time for him to not be in the theme team tier, because the value is just so much lower. Goaltenders really won't get you exceptionally more performance in game that is going to give you more wins. It will just every once in a while maybe be the difference between a win and a loss, but they aren't going to be the sole reason. So that being said, at 6'2", he is a little bit better than Belfour. He's got 95 speed. Showstopper is a very good zone ability if you are going to look to activate one, but still nonetheless, Dostal would be left for Anaheim Duck fans. Now, I need to mention, this is one of the most difficult events to rank, simply because of the event that came before it, the Gallery of Greats event, which was odds on probably one of the best events we ever got in terms of like the cards available to be made, and of the event that's right after it, which is Team of the Year, which is literally one of the best events all year round. So that has some context. So I'm going to try and remove that. And again, this is for players that are simply looking to make the best card from this event, and you are dead set on making a card from this event. That being said, almost all of the cards would be in what I would consider the A tier. The A tier are cards that are fantastic. They're going to improve your lineup, but you won't regret not making them when the event is over. That is what the S tier is. So just keep that in mind when I'm going to go through these cards. I'll talk about which ones I maybe like a little bit more, but a lot of this is going to be team context, meaning that if you need a right-handed defenseman, the right-handed defenseman options are going to be better than almost all of the other cards, simply because you need them for that specific spot in your lineup. But let's get into the rest. Down near the bottom of the remaining Master Set player items would be Patrice Brisebois. Now, he was the GOAT when he was a team builder item in NHL 24. That was like legit one of my favorite cards all year round. That being said, at 6'2", 196, he has good size, and with two-way defenseman activated, he gets his defensive awareness up to 92. Gold stick him up, however, it just doesn't have the same impact as it does in years past. Because cards have such good offensive awareness, when you knock a puck free, they can just get it back very easily, and that is a major issue with the offensive awareness stat, as it goes up through the roof. It's just very hard to knock a puck off of a player's stick. On top of that, tape to tape, the benefits can pretty much be completely negated by just using the icon passing to get an auto sauce. He's got 91 speed, excel, and agility. All of that is great. That's fine. And in kind of that good range when it comes to skating. However, that being said, Patrice Brisebois, for the cost to actually make the card, if you were only able to make one, kind of loses its value when you could just go make the XP Aaron Ekblad for free by completing the XP path, and he's just all around far better, in my opinion, especially when you consider he's got gold shutdown and heat seeker. So that's why Brisebois would be among the lowest for me. Now, the same thing could be said for Noah Dobson, because again, very similar skating. However, he's a little bit bigger at 6'4", 200. Gold Heat Seeker, though, is just, again, one of my favorite abilities. It is so fun to use in this game because it really throws off players that are selling out to block a DDD one-timer. It just gives you an added threat at the point, and even if you don't score on it, you're able to just cause a lot of havoc. If you were looking for a right-handed defenseman, I would much rather have Noah Dobson than Patrice Brisebois from this event, but like I mentioned, there are some other options that you can get for free. Following Noah Dobson, we've got the 89 Brendan Shanahan. Now, normally he's an extremely good skater to go with the fact that he's very big at 6'3", 220. However, 90 speed, 91 excel, and 90 agility, with no real way to improve that via synergies, just unfortunately leaves him a very mediocre skater at this stage of the game compared to other options, even in this event. Now, his superstar ability of close quarters is pretty good. Again, I think there is a place where it is a extremely useful ability, especially if you go for a lot of rebounds or just a player that would be close around the net. I think it's a little bit more useful on centerman, just based on if you are able to set up some actual plays. Your centerman's usually the closest one to the net. Unstoppable force is good, but I find in this game that hitting in general is very difficult to knock anyone off the puck, so it loses a little bit of its advantage because, again, you could just hold on to the puck with pretty much anyone. He's got a good shot. He can only play right-handed wing, but nonetheless, I just think that there are stronger options than Brendan Shanahan. Next, we've got Kirill Marchenko, and this is going to be community-based feedback, okay? At 6'3", 195, 91 speed, 91 excel, 92 agility, and balance. He's got unstoppable force as well as gold snipe. He can get even to the higher shooting ranges if you're able to get pinpoint shooting boost and sniper forward activated. The issue with Kirill Marchenko is that he just doesn't feel very quick, and one of the issues is he might be because he's a little bit bigger at 6'3", but because of that, there are going to be cards that are coming up very shortly that are just going to replace players that don't have exceptional skating. And while I do like Gold Snipe as a zone ability, there are definitely better ones out there. For example, like if you had Gold Elite Edges to help out with feeling a little bit more of a sluggish type of skater, it's still going to be a very good card for you right now. I just think, again, that there are better options, specifically from this event. Following Kirill Marchenko, we've got the 89 Andrei Svechnikov at 6'2", 195. He's got great size, and he is usually one of the better skaters at 92 speed, 92 excel, and 93 agility. Again, among the better skaters that you can get right now. He's got sniper forward and deking boost. That deking boost would be really nice to activate if you can, because it would max out his deking attribute and get his hand-eye and puck control up even higher. That being said, the reason why he's a little bit lower on my list is because there are a lot of good left-handed wingers in the game. On top of that, his abilities just not all that impactful. So Gold 1T, far more impactful on a defenseman, and in all honesty, you don't need Gold 1T because if you do a skill-based one-timer, it pretty much gives you the Gold 1T effect, and then skilled up, again, like, that's very niche. If you're using total controls and you go for the Michigan a lot, again, not something that I would recommend. There are far more impactful abilities that you can put on a player than skilled up, especially because it costs the same as all other superstar abilities. This is still going to be a very good card, and he is higher for me than some of the other MSPs. But if you have the likes of Connor McDavid, or maybe you've got Kucherov's X Factor, or even Nicholas Backstrom or Marian Host's Team Builder item, I'd rather have those cards than Andrei Svechnikov. So again, while I do think he is a pretty good card from this event, there are just a lot of other left-handed wingers. Following him is the 89 Rasmus Dahlin at 6'3", 204. The reason why I have him much higher in the list is, well, with two-way defenseman activated, he gets 92 defensive awareness, and power shooting boost helps out a little bit, but again, not all that great of synergies. Gold Elite Edges is, again, just a difference maker in this game. It will make every card feel a lot different, and because he's got 92 speed and excel, which again is not much different than, let's say, Dobson or Patrice Brisebois, it's the Gold Elite Edges that really makes this card kind of stand out, on top of the fact that he's 6'3", 204, so he's got good size to go along with it. I think Seeing Eye could be a fun ability to have if you use Rasmus Dahlin a little bit higher in your lineup, like on your first pair, for example, but for anyone that's brand new to the game, he would be a great option for you, and I think he'd be a lot of fun. All right, now on to the final two, and if there was an S tier from this event, in my opinion, I don't think there is. I don't think that there's a card that when this event is done, you're going to regret not having it. But that being said, if there was an S tier, and again, Team of the Year and Gallery of Greats event didn't just happen, these would be the two cards that would be the closest to it. So these are what I'm calling the A+ cards. Number one is Chris Pronger at 6'6", 220. You just can't get much better size, and that is impactful because that increases his reach and just, length to actually impact the play. He's got 92 defensive awareness, 93 body checking, which is great. Thunderclap, you don't need to activate. Again, D2D one-timers, you don't need any of that. But Gold Shutdown is one of the best abilities in the game. It will allow you to bump players off the puck. It'll make your poke check more impactful when defending the rush. And while he's only got 90 skating across the board, because he's 6'6", again, it makes up for the fact that he's a little bit more sluggish. If you pair him with someone like Cale Makar, any of the Cale Makar cards, or any defenseman that has above 90 speed that is right-handed, like Axel Sandin Palika from the fantasy event, for example, you're going to get a fantastic shutdown defenseman option. So Chris Pronger would be a pretty easy selection if you were looking for the best item to make from this event. But in my opinion, the best card from this release is the 89 Milan Hajduk. It has the potential for the longest longevity, the card that can be most impactful in your lineup for the longest time. Sniper forward and agility boost, if you can get that activated, bumps his skating even higher. So he's got 93 speed and acceleration, 95 agility, and 93 balance if you can get agility boost activated, which is one of the easier boost synergies to activate. It is on a lot of the common cards that are above, in the high 80s. Gold make it snappy, and silver puck on a string you really don't need to activate, but I actually think that's a bit of a benefit because you don't want to have cards that are reliant on their abilities, because eventually you're going to get better cards and you're not going to be able to use the abilities on these cards, right? So if they have great attributes, I would take that a lot over the abilities, unless they're free, obviously. But this is just a fantastic card. He's got like 93 hand stats across the board. His wrist shot power and accuracy is almost 99. And again, right-handed winger, we did get a lot of great ones, especially like Brett Hull in the Gallery of Greats event. It is still a position that needs a little bit more love, and I think that Milan Hajduk would be a great addition to your team if you were looking for one specific card to make from this event. Now, I mentioned this in my event breakdown video. If you are brand new to the game, like you started right after New Year's or right around the holidays, and you don't have a lot of collection to make, maybe 2 Team of the Year player items, I actually don't think making all 5 of the Master Set player items from this last set here, the bundle set, is a bad idea. If you are able to grind out everything that you can to make 389 overall MSPs, and then you can get the last 2 for free, essentially getting all 5. Belfour is obviously not going to be an impactful card for you, but for a lot of players, you could use him as a backup goalie and get the synergy boost from them, and then you'd have 4 other 89 players that you could use in your lineup and really kind of catch you up. Now, obviously, I would have rather you guys taken advantage of doing both of these. Like if you could have gotten 8, that was what I recommended when the event first dropped. Just keep that in mind, take a look at how much of your collection you've gotten. If you think that your lineup would be substantially better, then it's not a terrible option. Obviously, 3 of the cards being account bound, meaning that you can't trade them in ever. You would want to, from week 2, make, Milan Hajduk account bound, as well as Rasmus Dahlin, for example. That way, they'll be in your lineup and you don't have to worry about trading them in. You'd take Ed Belfour as one of your untradables, for example. But in all honesty, guys, when it comes to completing the objectives, I'm just using everything. I'm going to be grinding them out very shortly for Team of the Year. Honestly, I think that the majority of the player base is going to have that same kind of route when it comes to this event, which is kind of unfortunate because it does seem like a throwaway event for the most part. But trying to do as many of the sets that will give you cards that you can then use for Team of the Year is what I would recommend. For example, the one that I'm really focusing on would be this last one, the 4x 83 and above player set. I'm just throwing all of the collectibles that I earn into this set. Remember, you can get 5 for free from the daily pack in the store. Try and do this set as many times as you can. You'll earn 1 essentially by completing wild card, for example, and it just gives you shot at pulling something good. I pulled like a couple 87s out of these packs, and then I'm just going to use that for Team of the Year. So guys, I hope that helps make some decisions. If you were thinking about making a Master Set player item, those would be the ones that I would recommend. Let me know what you think in the comments section down below, and I'll see you guys next time. Have a good one.